10A, second reading and public hearing on ordinance O-25-12. Madam Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a second final reading on ordinance number 02512, an ordinance of the City of Sebastian, Florida, revising Land Development Code Article 5 zoning district regulations by amending the townhouse dimensional regulations within the RM8 medium density multifamily residential 8 dwelling units per acre and RM10 medium density multifamily residential 10 dwelling units per acre zoning districts, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, providing for codification, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date.
All right, thank you. Mr. Mann, is this on you? We made the changes, I imagine, that we discussed?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have. So in the interest of time, we can just put the PowerPoint into public record and we could discuss those changes that were discussed at the last council meeting.
Council?
I'd like to move approval.
Second. All right. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Anyone on Zoom?
Not this time.
Any further discussion? Roll call, Ms. Williams.
Councilmember Dodd?
Yes.
Councilmember Nunn?
Yes.
Mayor McPartland?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
All right. And we have no unfinished business. We have new business. Item 12A, consideration of resolution number R-25-21. Madam Attorney, is this you? Or is this
Actually,
Mr. Mann
read the
again?
resolutions, no, but I can. Resolution number R-2521, a resolution of the City of Sebastian, Indian River County, Florida, approving the final plat for the Spirit of Sebastian PUD POD 1B2, providing for conflicts, scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
All right, thank you. Mr. Mann, this your item?
All right, Mr. Mayor. So this is the resolution to consider the approval for the subdivision of the Spirit of Sebastian PUD Pod 1B2. And this is consistent of 59 lots and a recreational tract. The bond has been posted for the sidewalks for the previous pod, and staff recommends approval of this final plat.
All right, thank you. Council, any questions for Mr. Mann? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this matter? All right, Council, how you want to move forward?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution R-25-21.
Second.
All right. Anyone on Zoom?
Not at this time.
All right, any further discussion? Roll call, Ms. Williams.
Councilmember Nunn?
Yes.
Mayor McPartland?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones?
Yes.
And Councilmember Dodd?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Lisa, up item 12B, consideration of a purchase order for Insight Public Sector Incorporated in the amount of $18,800.92 for floodplain management software. Ms. Graham, good evening.
Good afternoon, everyone. So you have before you a request to approve a purchase order for Insight Public Sector. They do provide floodplain management software, and before you, you also have a revised quote, which states that the implementation and setup fee will be waived. That's $8,000 that we'll save as long as we can issue a purchase order by June 30th.
All right, thank you. Council, any questions for Ms. Graham?
I have one question.
Yes.
So just curious, I know they're doing it all manually now. Do we have an estimate, rough estimate of how many man hours this will save by using the software?
We do not. That wasn't something we looked at. If that's something, I'm not sure if that's something that we could get or do or come up with an estimate on.
I think one of the biggest advantages of the software is the ability of the public to get in and answer like an AI. They can ask and answer questions.
Correct. There
Yeah.
will be public, like a public interface where they can go in and view that information. Right now, it's not available. And then also with disaster recovery, right now the teams are going around and they're having to manually do that. With this software, they'll have it on their iPad. So if they're going checking out buildings after a storm, they can punch in that information on their iPad and it can automatically go to the county. So it's just able to do this process in real time instead of taking your pictures, coming back to your desk and then doing it. It's being able to have the tools with you at that time as you're going through and checking out damage or floodplains.
Yes. Instead of manually handwriting this information in, we can input it through iPads out in the field, and it will save a lot of manpower.
Okay,
Time.
awesome. I appreciate it. Thank
It's
you.
even kind of green, too.
And
So,
it is.
Council, how
Yes.
you wish to move on this?
Make a motion to approve, no, go ahead. Sorry, Ed. Our friend.
No, I make a motion to approve this purchase order through Insight Public Sector.
I'll second that.
All right, anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Anyone on Zoom?
Not at this time.
Any further discussion? Roll call, Ms. Williams.
Mayor McPartlin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones?
Yes.
Councilmember Dodd?
Yes.
And Councilmember Nunn?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Leads up to our next item, 12C, consideration of a lease amendment 9 for Wheelan Aerospace Technologies to remove 2 office spaces in the airport terminal building. Mr. Sabo, good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. This came about through original discussions between the city manager and city staff to increase our capabilities for during and post-hurricane reaction. We have an emergency operations center that was built into that terminal building that was not really being used. Subsequent conversations with the tenant, they had some spaces that they were not fully utilizing, and they were willing to amend their lease to consolidate their space, free up the second half of the room that is actually hardened and built for this purpose, along with an additional office space that we'll be talking about to lease to a new tenant for the airport.
All right, thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Sabo? Council, how you wish to move on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve the Ninth Amendment.
Second?
All right, get a motion and a second. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Anyone on Zoom?
No one has raised their hand at this time.
Roll call, Ms. Williams.
Vice Mayor Jones?
Yes.
Councilmember Dodd?
Yes.
Councilmember Nunn?
Yes.
And Mayor McPartlin?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Leads us up to item 12D, consideration of a new office space lease for aviation check ride specialist in the airport terminal building, and authorize the mayor to execute the appropriate documentation. Mr. Sabo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This space is one of the 2 spaces that has been relinquished now by Wayland Aerospace. The space in question, we will actually be able to charge a higher rate for the rent on this space now by bringing in this new tenant. And this tenant will bring a very much needed service, not just for ourselves, but the entire coastal area. This operation provides testing, check rides, recurrency for both new pilots, a lot of the students in the areas, and current and existing pilots, and we'll draw from beyond this area as well.
All right, thank you. Council, any questions for Mr.
Now,
Sabo?
this is a mechanical thing. It's got nothing to do with the lease, but I think on page 223 in Exhibit A, in the 3rd paragraph, it references that the lease rate shall be the rate as described in Section 3. It's actually Section 4.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Okay. That's where the dollar amount's listed, is in Section 4, so.
Excellent. Thank you.
Does that sound like a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve,
Second.
as modified.
All right. Still second?
Still second.
All right. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Anyone on Zoom?
Not at this time.
Roll call, Ms. Williams.
Councilmember Dodd?
Yes.
Councilmember Nunn?
Yes.
Mayor McPartlin?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Leads us up to item 12E, consideration of CSA number 4 for Carter and Associates Incorporated to begin design of the upper Stonecrop Drainage Improvement Project in the amount of $172,958 and authorize the city manager or designee to execute. Good evening, Karen.
So I gave you all an exhibit showing where the existing Stonecrop project is, that's outlined in blue. And we are looking to expand on that project and move further to the north, all the way up to Tulip Drive. This CSA in front of you, it actually would be up to $175,958 if reimbursable expenses are required. So I just wanted to update that total. This would be a combination of 3 different stormwater master plan projects of armoring a section of the ditch, like we currently are doing at Stonecrop, and changing 3 different road crossings for increased capacity. So this would be just for design services. We are looking to go ahead for design services now in advance of applying for grant funding. This allows us to go for additional future grants if necessary and limit that time in between design and construction. Our previous Stonecrop project, we had to wait 9 months between our 2 design contract and construction contract. So we're looking to limit that time. And that's why we're looking to get the CSA approved before a grant application, if that's okay.
Council, any questions?
Well, it's actually got nothing to do with this particular project, but I understand from the conversation I had with the city manager today, and maybe Lee or Brian can give a quick, that we're going to be paving Laconia relatively quick. I think the people down there would love to hear that, so.
I was going to give that update during my matter.
Oh, were you?
so-
Okay, I'm sorry, Brian. You'll hear about this later.
All right.
So yeah, the existing stone crop project will be done by August
Yeah.
in its entirety, but we're just planning to move forward with momentum to the further upstream areas.
All right. Council, any further questions for Ms. Miller? May you wish to proceed on this item?
Mr. Mayor, if I may just clarify one thing. When, in a motion, if it's a motion to approve, we just asked that it's in the amount of $175,958 because there was, in the calculations on the CSA and also on their quote that's attached, neither one of those included the reimbursable expenses, which we typically haven't dealt with, but I want to make sure they're included just in case we end up having to have any of those in this project. So it would increase it to 175,958.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve CSA number 4 for Carter and Associates in the amount of $175,958.
Second.
Get a motion a second. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this matter? Anyone on Zoom?
Not at this time.
Any further discussion? Roll call, Ms. Williams.
Councilmember Dodd?
Yes.
Councilmember Nunn?
Yes.
Mayor McPartlin?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, this leads us up. Madam Attorney, you have any matters for us this evening?
No legal matters. I'll be out of the office next week and Friday.
All right, thank you. Mr. Benton?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I have a couple items. Councilmember Dodd stole a little bit of my thunder that I have an update on the stone cropping, and but it is a general update. You know, I don't want to. We still do have some potential weather concerns as we advance through this week, but we do anticipate seeing the Laconia portion paved later this week or early next week and getting that portion open. I do want to caution the public and go ahead and put it out there that there'll be a time within the next few months after this happens that they'll have to come back in, do an assessment to make sure the compaction and everything is good, and then mill and do a final pave on that Laconia section, so there could be a day or two closure during that time. But the project is continuing to advance as we had previously outlined for the public, with a completion date of the entire project some point in late July, tentatively based on the weather, but they are looking good. We were on site yesterday taking a look at it, and everything is currently proceeding as planned. So hopefully later this week or, you know, middle of next week, we'll get Laconia open back up for traffic as we go through.
Anything else, Mr. Benton?
I do. I just want to remind everyone, you all and the public, that we have our budget workshop scheduled for July 16th and July 17th. We've got different departments on each of those days, and that'll be an important time for us to kind of discuss where we currently are in our budgeting process and just have general discussions about line item and projects within the budget. And with that, that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Benton. Ms. Williams, you have anything for us tonight?
No, sir.
All right, leads us up to me. Only thing I can say is that July 16th, we're going to be missing the picnic in Okeechobee. So will you be barbecuing that day, Mr. Benton?
We will provide lunch.
All right. Thank you. That's all I have. Mr. Nunn. Mr. Nunn?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Dodd?
Oh, okay. I've got a couple things, and we're at 16 minutes, which means this isn't the shortest meeting we've had, so I can do this. We've had some contacts about quiet zones. People complain about the noise from trains wanting quiet zones. So I had a conversation with the people at the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council who actually do quiet zone preparation work for people. And the sad story is that, yes, the city can apply for quiet zones on their own without the county doing that. However, it's very difficult for a municipality within a county who doesn't apply for quiet zones to get a quiet zone. The other side of that that's an issue is that you can only apply for a quiet zone on crossings that cross roads that you own, which means in Sebastian, the only two crossings that we could apply for quiet zones for is Barber Street and Main Street. So they're still gonna blow their horn at 512, and they're still gonna blow their horn at Roseland, they're still gonna blow their horn before that, and at Indian River, at Old Dixie Highway. So it would make no sense, and they told me it just literally would not make any sense for us to want to spend the money it would take to apply for a quiet zone for the city. So just so the people here, it's not that we don't want to do it, it's just that there isn't any advantage to us to try to make that process and do the quiet zone thing, so. We've also received some contacts about the mangrove removal that happened in the county. And of course, the sad thing is that the news says mangroves destroyed in Sebastian. Of course it does. They're not in the Sebastian, they're actually in the unincorporated county. And I will tell you that the county is, from everything I have seen and been told, the county's doing everything they can to go after taking care of that issue. It was done without their approval. They would never have approved that. But in a conversation I had with one gentleman, he was very adamant about, well, why isn't Sebastian doing something about the economy, about the ecology? Why aren't we doing something about all this kind of stuff? And I'm thinking to myself, we're doing a lot, but maybe he just doesn't know it. And I don't know how many other residents that don't know it, what we're doing. So I wanted to do a real quick summary. I mean, Sebastian, in the development of their pest management plans, has developed best practices on handling vegetative and live pests within their parks and their waterway system. I mean, basically the best management plan requires that people who remove those things, for example, spraying, they can't spray the most hazardous material just because that's the quickest thing to do. They have to prove that that's required. We have to start at the least invasive technique to do that. And the city has a very, very good structure and follows through that. So they've managed, and through those development of those pest management plans, they've managed to create a really good environment within the city for doing that. They were created by the people on the Natural Resources Board, the NRB. City staff, our current city manager at the time was not the city manager. He was the lead on that, and he was the person who kind of corralled all these people. We had external people. Dr. Graham Cox was involved in it, and people from IFAS, from the University of Florida, were involved in it. So it wasn't something done in a vacuum. They were very well put together. In direct lagoon stuff, the city has actually been involved and paid for the installation of oyster cages under docks. We've been involved. I don't know how well those things have succeeded, whether the oysters are still living there or not, but we went through that process. We've done oyster mats on pilings. We've done the oyster mats that have just been placed in the river, along with the shoreline stabilization things. And my understanding from listening to the National Resources Board the other night, shoreline stabilization is working real well down there when they do that process. And the NRB is actually working through this Sustainable Sebastian initiative, which is very important. In 2017, they started talking about this as part of trying to implement the litter quitter program, doing away with plastic utensils and straws. And between 2017 and somewhere in about the 2019-21 timeframe, because of COVID, it was kind of hard to trace that down, but that became almost codified because the city council approved a task plan and approved spending funds to implement that task plan. And they've been working since then on that. They're doing a very good job right now. They're on their second iteration of their task plan. And anybody out there, especially the gentleman that I talked to, come to the NRB board meetings. Come in and talk to them. If you have ideas, express those to those guys. We have people on that board that we probably couldn't pay to be there if they ask us to pay them a salary. They have qualifications that are beyond that. Come in and talk to them. But when you come in and talk to them, please don't do like we had in 2018 when people came in and pounded the table and demanded that we do things in 3 minutes. Okay, change is, when you do things like this, change is slow. It takes iterative process, it takes consideration, it takes communication. Governments work very slow because they have to please more than the person that's talking to them at the time they're talking to them. Bad government tries to please the person talking to them at the time they're talking to them. Good government tries to do it in an iterative, contemplative fashion. And I know we like to do good government. That's why people scream that we're not fast enough. But so come in and talk to those people. I just thought it might be time to do an update on that. So thank you.
Well, I think that one of the biggest things about ecologically is when they started the Indian River Lagoon Council, which was multi-counties. Indian River County did not want to be part of it, and Sebastian started the initiative where we had the seat for several years, along with Vero Beach and Fellsmere, paying that money to sit on that council until Indian River County did see the benefit of being on the council, but we held that seat. So, yeah. Mr. Jones.
No, sir.
Nothing.
Mr. Mayor, I have one thing to add.
Okay.
So I meant to mention this. So Barber Street Road repaving, that project is nearing completion. We anticipate, tonight and tomorrow night, road repaving from the railroad track to US 1 on Barber. So it'll be a nighttime project, in that area. And then, the city, I just want to make it clear, the city is fully aware. We were on top of, after evaluating the first segment of roadway that they paved on Barber Street, just past the curve up to Schuman. Once that portion was paved, it was really obvious, and immediately the city notified the contractor that the paving there was substandard in regards to how wavy, bumpy it is. So I just want to make it clear that the contractor has accepted that. They will be doing, repaving that area, doing a mill and overlay in that area to smooth it out. That process should get started sometime late this week or early next week, and they'll address that portion of roadway during that time. And with that, they are also going to be doing some warranty work on Schuman Drive. We filed a warranty claim with the contractor as well for Schuman, so there's some areas there that they'll be repaving late this week, early next week as well. So the contractor has been very responsive to us, and they've been on top of it and had multiple meetings with Lee and his staff as soon as, the condition was found, and they've been willing to rectify the situation immediately.
All right, thank you. Well, I also know a couple of the items that I seen with the paving. I got with you and Lee got with them, and so the company has been very on top of any kind of warranty kind of things to do that. I thought they were speed bumps on Barber, but, I guess not. So, anything further? Being no further business, we're adjourned.